Is it an RS2000? Yeah. Today we are going to make a rally spec exhaust on Garth Ankeny's RS2000. Should be pretty straightforward. It's going to do 2 1/4 with a muffler, which is up there already. Should sound good. It's got a pretty high compression motor in there. Makes supposed to make 190 horsepower. So, all right, who wants to Sharpie mark me? Sharpie!
Hell yeah, brother.
Ideally, I'm gonna come down the channel and right up here. So what I'm gonna do here is we gotta make a slip joint. That's what those 2 springs are. And then we're gonna run the exhaust down this little channel right here. So that looks about good. All right, let's go bump this and then we'll go from there. And we're done. Oh, I can't get it off. There it goes. This is 304 stainless steel. 304 is the best, cheapest form of stainless. You can get 321, which is the best, but it's really expensive. And then like 409 is what a lot of cat bodies are made out of, and those will rust. And then there's lower grades like in the 200s, which you see a lot of like Chinese products made out of, and those are just garbage. Pretty important, you want to do everything on tangent, so like horizontal to the plane. I'll mark it with a Sharpie and then give it a nice couple tacks over on the bench. This is just important because this sets the tail of the whole exhaust. All right, who wants to Sharpie mark me? Got my little alignment marks. And this, you can see why you want to have them like nice and straight cuts and flat sanded, so there's like absolutely no gap. It'll just give a way stronger, better weld. Pro tip, you always want to tack on a triangle. 2 sides and a top. That way, once you actually do start welding, the part is already pulled straight and true, and it's not gonna warp. Whereas like if you just tacked on each side and started welding on the top, this heat is gonna wanna pull the tube, and then you'll usually get like a gap on the backside. Yeah, pretty much. They're just like digging around for scrap stuff around the shop. I think this one was a Crosstrek mid-pipe bend that had a messed up front section, so. But the rest of these bends are fantastic, so. Ooh, that's a nice piece. So now that I have this how I want it all the way back to here, I'm gonna weld this joint and weld this joint and weld, yeah, all that, so it'll be one piece. And then I bumped this, so now this will be welded onto the car, and now I can just unbolt from back here. Like a butt weld would work, which is what these are. But since this is gonna be an abusive spot of the car, having it slipped in with 2 inches of overlap and a weld is gonna be like a million times stronger. TIG welding's all about prep work. Nice sharp tungsten, good quality rod, and like a clean working surface. So like these are all wire wheeled Scotch-Brited and then acetoned before I weld them. The better you clean this, the better the weld's gonna turn out. The better fit up on your joint, the better the weld's gonna turn out. So it's like painting. The more prep work you do, the better the result you'll get.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
I'm gonna let it cool for a minute. And that's where you get like the gold color is what you want. The blue is a little hot, but still fine. But you can tell where, you know, you start and stop because of the color changes. If you were to finish your weld, immediately move your torch, and then the oxygen hits the hot weld, and it will turn gray, and it will be just gross looking and not as strong as it should be. This is the front section, so this will go off of the header towards the back, and then this part is going to go up and over the axle. Lunchtime. I just want to lock that because that's my end goal right there. So I want to lock that into place. And now that I have like the front half kind of situated, now I can build from there to there. Yeah, I'm just seeing if I like the position. I would like it more outboard, but the link bracketry is right in the way of the back of it. Oh, and now I just got to figure out what bend I have that'll go over the axle how I want. It might be that one. Sharpie! So I think the muffler would be goofy. Like if I put it like in line with this, that'd be kind of weird. So, I don't know, maybe the center exit would be kind of cool. I'm trying to find like a 45-degree bend of some sorts. So we got some hidden gems up here. Some set-aside goodies. Ooh, like that guy. Look at that. Sweet. So since this is a solid axle, the whole thing will be moving up in unison. And with the long travel shocks they got on here, they said it will almost bottom out this on the frame rail. So from the axle to the frame rail, you got like 6.5 inches of up travel. And I want to make sure we have that same amount or more for exhaust clearance, so this thing doesn't come up on a hard compress and rip the exhaust off. It's close, but I gotta redo this. Ain't gonna work. I just need to extend this length about 2 inches, and that will push, it'll push this whole bend up into the car more. And then it should be okay. So we got most of it done. Just trying to get up over the axle and give as much clearance as we possibly can. I just gotta tweak it again and redo it, a little bit of it, the exit to the muffler. It's not right. So gotta make it right. Gotta make it look good. Other than that, the front's all done. We gotta put some marks on the front slip joint for the springs, figure out a hanger somewhere in this vicinity, and then one back there when that part's finished. So, but it's about all for today. Come back sometime later this week and wrap this thing up. I finished the last weld, so from there to the here's all welded now. But other than that, nothing else has been done. Yeah, hopefully this is the last piece. Go tack that on and then do a final fit and then put the muffler on. I like around 15 degrees. I think it lets you know that you have a slash cut, but it's not too aggressive looking. But personal preference, I guess. Sick. See, like, it's just a good looking slash cut. I think that bend was a little too much. Nah, I'm over this one.
You're over it?
Over it. I think I'll probably throw like another slash cut on the muffler side of like 5 degrees, and it should kick it up. Too much. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Little by little. All right, I think that's the winner. Still got a nice gap there. Yep. Yep. Just looking at it from afar. Yeah, I think that'll be good. You always want to come back and look at what you're doing, because sometimes it'll look really good on the car when you're right up in front of it, and then you like step back and you're like, wow, that looks terrible. Sweet. Now I gotta brainstorm how we should like mount this. So doing the hangers, we got some nice threaded holes in the body here, so we'll bolt a bushing in there and then stick one of these, and it'll sit like that, and then it'll have a nice big weld all the way around onto the body of the muffler so it won't rip out. And then another little trick on rally cars is if you drill the end of it, you can do a cotter pin through there so it won't, if the exhaust goes this way, it's not gonna pull through the bushing. So that's how that'll look. We'll go drill our hole and then weld it on. Just walking. Oh yeah. It's like a drilling wax or cutting wax. Works really good. So there's not a whole lot of options for mounting up here that are anything good. Might make like a little bracket off the transmission mount that kind of comes over and right there. I mean, once these are connected with the springs and this is bolted to the trans, because that's got to get remade a little bit, that might be okay with nothing right here, but it would be kind of nice to have something here too. Now we're going to put the springs on, so we made these little doohickeys out of some welding rod, and they'll get, I know you probably can't see that, but they'll get welded onto the side of the pipe, and then the springs will pull it, and then that's how this joint stays tight. But we're gonna take this paint off and then zap those things on there a little bit. All right, so that's basically a wrap on this project. Just did the final fit of the exhaust. Everything fits pretty well. Super high clearance, pretty much as tight as you can get anywhere. I think we might add one more hanger just so it can't pivot around on itself. But other than that, turned out super good. I'm really happy with it. It looks good, it should last a long time, and hopefully it sounds good. Unfortunately, we cannot start the car because it is not finished. So Garth still needs to make it run and do a bunch of motor stuff, but should scream. Excited to hear it, and yeah. All right, so it's been a minute. We finished the exhaust. We are now at Garth's shop. He has finished the car. We'll pretty much finish it. It runs now. So we're gonna hear it. We're gonna cold start it for the first time, and then maybe convince him to like drive it around the block or something. I don't know, but yeah, here we are.
All right, so we always have to start at the end. That's the important part of the car. And it started its life as just like a 1300cc, push rod motor, nothing special. And when I got the car, it had a Pinto, 2-liter Pinto motor in it. And, but I wanted to do the Lotus twin cam because it's more, what this car should have in it, in my opinion. But motor was designed by Ford and Lotus. I think it's probably on the drafting table in the late 50s, and then they made it happen in the 60s, early 60s. And so then it morphed into what it is today, which is, you can get up to 200 horsepower out of them. So this thing's been rallied pretty much all its life. So you can imagine I think both these fenders have been replaced. The front wings here, I think, have been cut off at one point. It's not quite straight anymore, but none of them are. And eventually, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to rally it. So we got the historic Recaro seats in it, the Spring-Alux wheel, the Halda trip. And then we got this beautiful Nameless exhaust running all the way through it. Yeah. Stainless steel. I'm excited to go out and beat it up and put some gravel dents in it for them. They love that.